King Porus of Porava was an ancient Indian king, who fought fiercely against Alexander the Great in the Battle of Hydaspes. His territory spanned the region between the Jhelum River and Chenab River in the Punjab region of the Indian subcontinent. He is only mentioned in the Greek sources. Porus was one of the last members of the Puru clan. The clan families were members of the mountaineers, mentioned in the Greek records. After Alexander the Great defeated the last of the Achaemenid Empire's forces, he began a new campaign, to further extend his empire towards India. Fortifying Bactria with 10,000 men, Alexander began his invasion of India with 40,000 infantry, and 5,000 cavalry. On the other side, King Porus tried to push his kingdom towards east of India. The Gandhara, in the west of Jhelum, was ruled by Taxila King Ambi. Alexander, who was marching towards India, formed an alliance with Ambi. He gifted him gold, oxen, sheep, horsemen and war elephants. Alexander sent a message to Porus to surrender, but Porus denied it, and prepared his army for the battle. Alexander arrived at the Hydaspes well prepared. Before marching into India, he had recruited additional troops from many of the Persian territories he had conquered. Across the river, Porus was also preparing and waiting with his army of elephants, cavalry, infantry and 6-men chariots. Alexander divided his army into multiple divisions. He led one small troop to move up and down the bank, to search for an opportunity to cross the river. After a long tedious search, a suitable location to cross was found, about 18 miles from the Macedonian camp. In an attempt to delay Alexander, Porus sent his son with 3,000 cavalry and 120 chariots. This attempt spelled disaster for Porus, as Alexander killed his son and destroyed the cavalry. At that time, Alexander didn't know that elephants could be used in warfare. He was shocked when he saw elephants in the army of Porus. The elephants crushed the defense of Alexander's army, and made a way for Porus's army infantry. This type of war method is totally new to Alexander and his army. So Alexander's army started attacking elephants with spears and arrows. Due to this, the elephants panicked and started to attack their own men. Porus personally took 40 elephants with him, and led the attack. During the war, Porus got hurt in his right shoulder. Throughout the battle, King Porus remained on his elephant, despite suffering severe wounds, shocked to see his army flee, but still reluctant to admit defeat and surrender. Porus fought with utmost dare, and came close to the victory. However, the battle techniques of Greek army succeeded in defeating Porus. After the battle, Alexander felt astonished at the war skills and dare of the Porus. Alexander approached Porus, and asked how he wanted to be treated, to which Porus responded that he wanted to be treated as a king. Alexander was very much impressed, and told Porus that he would remain king, owing allegiance to Alexander, and gave him the additional territory. In 326 BC, the army of Alexander approached the boundaries of the Nanda Empire. His army, exhausted from the continuous campaigning, and concerned at the prospect of facing yet another gigantic Indian army. The Hydaspes battle made fear of defeat in the thoughts of Alexander, who struggled against King Porus with a small army. The historians thought, how could it possible to him to fight against the mighty rulers of Magadha, who was about 100 times powerful than Porus? So Alexander left hope of conquering India.